everybody. This is the Boots to the Boardroom podcast with your host, Blake Miles. And on this week's episode, we've got a special clip episode. For all of our episodes, we went and gathered up some of the best tidbits we could find and put them all together for you. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and share and get the word out there. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the show.
The catalyst reoriented my mindset and kind of motivated me to make that change. But then they actually did help me get into Purdue because there was a open house thing that was available that I wasn't aware of. So I was able to take advantage of that. And then, like 2 weeks later, I was in the program that started in September. I mean, the month of August saw me change jobs, careers, as well as the master's. And the reason really why I went for the master's is I needed another, maybe call it like an academic pedigree, another thing to go with what I've already have going for me. Sitting here with, 18 years, 20, almost 2 decades of experience in a couple of different industries.
There's a common perception problem with veterans about how they personally brand themselves, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean, with an actual cattle brand or something for all you people out there. No, the personal brand is how you convey who you are and how you build this perception around you, but particularly when you go into employers, because a lot of veterans do some really intensive and crazy, some of it's cool shit and some of it's actually valuable to the business world in ways that they don't know, and they're not always the best at translating it, and oftentimes they're very humble, which is a very good quality. But when you're getting into these corporate mindsets, a lot of times it's mistaking for meekness, or they're unsure. Mm-hmm. But if you place the veterans in those positions and then ask them to perform, suddenly that's all changed.
And also get involved with some sort of civilian group within a community, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, Lions Club, something. So I joined Rotary Club in Fishers, Indiana. And that was just to kind of understand the civilians. And I'm still, I go and I do the events and I do the volunteer events with them and I enjoy working with them, but I really don't belong, right? I have to kind of work at, being interested in what they're interested in. And that's okay. But I feel very comfortable, around the veterans, because we all have that similar foundation, a similar work ethic, similar experiences, and that's probably never going to go away. But very important for all you listening out there to get involved in multiple groups and get your name out, open doors, talk to people, shake hands, and get to understand them. And I found that to be very valuable.
The catalyst reoriented my mindset and kind of motivated me to make that change. But then they actually did help me get into Purdue because there was a open house thing that was available that I wasn't aware of. So I was able to take advantage of that. And then, like 2 weeks later, I was in the program that started in September. I mean, the month of August saw me change jobs, careers, as well as the master's. And the reason really why I went for the master's is I needed another, maybe call it like an academic pedigree, another thing to go with what I've already have going for me. Sitting here with, 18 years, 20, almost 2 decades of experience in a couple of different industries.
There was a lot of, if you go back to the original version, because I kind of cleaned this one up a little bit in the audios to make it more child-friendly, I guess. But there was a lot more raw emotion in the original writing, and I think there might be some value in reading it from the raw version, but you might have a hard time finding it because it actually got memory hold, so you're gonna have a hard time finding the original article. But I know it actually happened because I got invited to a TED Talk, so hey, there's your proof. You're down in Florida. What's the view?
Well, it's about as southern as it gets, my good man. We've got those oak trees with the Spanish moss trickling down off of them. You can hear the bullfrogs and stuff in the evening sitting out in the creek. And then we're actually right by the ocean, which is pretty cool. So we've got some little creeks and such trickling into the ocean out on the Gulf Coast. So I love it. As a Navy man, I think it's fantastic. I think it's wonderful.
So, well, I must say that was like a Tolkien-esque description of the scenery you have around you. That was very, very. I could see it. I could visualize it really well. It was very well laid out.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious now. Then you ended up in the academic space. I mean, could you have?
Yeah.
By the way, going from EOD to intelligence was a very intelligent decision. I don't know. Just gotta say that, particularly in that period. You know, all I remember about the EOD guys. Remember, I used to call in airstrikes. Was anytime there was a dud or anything like that, those guys just hated us. They're like, we gotta go out there and get that. I'm like, well, you chose that career field. Good luck. You know, it's a night op. Hopefully, they're sleeping.
I remember going through the Q course. Everyone's like, get the green beret, get the tab, be the cool guy. But it takes a while before you start to realize that. And I guess they tell you this up front, but you don't listen if you just focus on getting the beret and getting the fancy the trinkets to prove that you're a cool guy. But there's a burden that comes with it. The burden is a lot heavier than the actual process of earning it.
Right. So you talking about, first night, first convoy going in, it like makes me nervous thinking about that. I can't even imagine. You must have been almost numb there,
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can remember a lot of that actual convoy and a lot of just pulling out of the main gate onto the main road.
All right, I'm going to need to point out something very important that you just said. As a Canadian, I just heard you say kilometer. Is that normal?
Well, it's normal in the military. Yeah, I love it. Because all of our maps run off kilometer blocks. So
it makes it much easier for me to understand.
I understand it. I think the metric system makes a lot more sense. There's some weird wizardry in the imperial system, and it's all
definitely
number wizardry. But yeah, that's an entirely different rabbit hole.
That process involved being surrounded by veterans who have that experience and who have gone through the hurdles and can help you through them quickly and help you understand where it is you want to go, because that's a big problem too. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's available as far as resources and benefits. And then once you get into this circle, like Catalyst, you start to get surrounded by veterans who have great information for you, who can support you. In that camaraderie, you reach out to everybody I've reached out to has always been willing to give me some help or give me some advice, and that's very beneficial because it's that unique understanding of a perspective. Because when you get out, depending on how long you were in or whatever it is you did, it's difficult to assimilate into the civilian culture and understand them. And you get kind of pissed off, and they look lazy and they act lazy. You kind of wonder how they get anything done. But that's part of the transition.
The bigger deal with those who didn't make it, I appreciate that. They would be doing the exact same thing that we're doing out here if they had if they were given the chance. They'd be out here probably hanging out, having a beer, listening to some music, having a good time with their family, maybe throwing some bags around in the backyard, something like that, or going out on a ride across multiple states because it's the United States of America,
Yep.
They would want that.
And your giant bus.
Well, I mean, or a motorcycle.
Rocking the giant bus.
The giant bus isn't for everybody, but yeah.
Or a motorcycle riding atop a giant bus, just for fun.
You know what? I could rig that, man. If there's anything that the Navy's taught me, a little bit of ingenuity and fabrication know-how, you can make a lot happen.
That's what I like. That I like that aspect of the Navy. That sounds. I can go with that. Lots of knots to tie.
Come on, man. Duct tape too. That's good. We've got to have the old. Got to have the old duct tape.
There's a stigma out there that I'm learning through business school right now that needs to be lifted, and it's this idea that my stepfather, he's old school, right? He's a salesman through and through throughout his career. He still has this mentality of, hey, you got to land at the right spot right now because you're gonna be too old and you're not gonna have other options. And that is completely not true anymore.
Yep.
People are moving 3 to 5 years out of their careers, sometimes doing completely different ones, but still having somewhat, learning from the relevant experience. This is a common occurrence now. People don't have the spend 30 years and then get your trophy and then your retirement. Like we don't do that anymore.
Yep.
It's 3 to 5 years. You're probably transitioned to a new company, either because you couldn't promote vertically or you wanted to try something like horizontally different. And it's accepted. In this day and age, it's accepted. There are very few industries out there where they're like, relevant experience is it. You must be this particular person with this particular skills. That's not as true as it used to be anymore. Like obviously a doctor or a veterinarian, different. I'm talking about
corporate.
There's so many different industries. There's so many different careers out there that will align to your experience, and you shouldn't feel that you should be confined to it.
The thesis we came to is that networking was one of the biggest problems, or the biggest lack, or the biggest gaps that special forces guys face when they get out. And it's weird because we're supposed to be natural networkers. That's what we do on the ground when we go overseas, is we build networks. But once we get out of the military, at least for me, and a lot of the guys that I talked to, that network just wasn't something that we either thought about or worked on or whatever. So the thinking was we need to have a way that someone can, when they're getting out, they say, what do you want to do? Figure out what they're wanting to do, figure out who we have in our network, then that can facilitate that desire to happen. And if we can build that network, then we can make it like a self-perpetuating system where one person comes in and they get connected with the right people and they get opportunities and they develop a career, and that just becomes a new node that you can reach out to for the next person that comes in.